Chocoholic whose diet has left her fungal and infected.
Fungal overgrowth on the skin.
That's disgusting.
What happens when you don't chew your food?
That's you burping.
And the experiment that brought this Olympic athlete to her knees.
I've been sick, haven't been able to hold anything down.
Tonight, the so-called healthy breakfast cereal that contains as much fat as this burger. And what clues are hidden in your photos of problem feet. But first, we go back 6 months when the diet doctors met a chocoholic who was out of control. 35-year-old Vicky Fletcher was a dress size 22. In 7.5 years, she'd gone from a toned 10 stone to a staggering 16. And along with the excess weight, she had a catalogue of health problems. Thinning, dry hair.
Look like I'm balding, which isn't particularly flattering for any woman.
Painful adult eczema and agonising attacks of cystitis.
I was just peeing blood.
When smoker Vicky became pregnant nearly 3 years ago, it was the push she needed to stab out the cigarettes. But when she stopped buying the fags, she started buying the chocolate and swapped one addiction for another.
I do feel my chocolate habit is out of control. I live off chocolate and I eat food in between. I wouldn't think twice about 6 bars of chocolate a day. If I went to double digits, I'd worry. I've got a favourite, which I tend to do live off. I'll have to stop, my stomach's rumbling.
And her splitting, cracked feet were so unbearably itchy, she had to resort to a razor blade to get relief.
I can sit here for up to half an hour, just continuing to go down and smooth and dig deeper and deeper just to get the skin off. Oh, it's just nice.
I'm quite worried. I just don't want my life to continue the way it is. So the way I feel is desperate. If I had to use one word, that would be it.
So, itchy feet, thinning hair and excess weight. Could the diet doctors help?
Well, here is the evidence for Vicky Fletcher. Let's see what we've got. This is her tongue.
First thing you see there, right up front, what a pale tongue. This girl must be tired. Maybe iron deficient, maybe vitamin and mineral deficient. Also struck by this mouth ulcer here and by a little bit of yeast at the back of the tongue there. Mouth ulcers can be associated with yeast overgrowth, but it can also be related to B vitamin deficiency and food sensitivity problems.
Now, this is a very severe condition.
This is really a horrible tongue. Poor thing, must be quite unwell, this person. But what I'm struck by here is this very nasty mouth ulcer here. This person has got a major problem.
And here is Vicky's hair.
Now, this is a girl that's obviously losing hair. Now, that may be because she's iron deficient, she's got a problem with her thyroid, she may have been extremely stressed, she may have had a recent pregnancy. So we've obviously got a bit of working out to do as to what's caused her particular hair loss.
OK, this is a slightly more severe case.
Now, this is actually an older woman. You can see that quite clearly because of the pattern of hair loss there. Thankfully, most women won't have this sort of problem because this is generalised hair loss extending quite far back.
This is Vicky's abdominal area. She must be really quite overweight because she's actually pulled her whole stomach up to reveal this area.
She's very overweight, and what we're looking at here is actually a stomach apron. That's what we call this. She's having to pull it up, and what we're seeing underneath is a yeast overgrowth going on here because yeast love to grow in sort of dark, moist conditions. Now, this, matched with her tongue, would suggest to me that this girl likes to eat sugar. But we'll find out.
Well, I'm going to show you something really very severe.
What we're looking at here is a case of yeast growing underneath this woman's breasts. For the same reasons that it grows here, it grows underneath here because this is dark and moist. This is actually a very common condition, but it's the worst severe case I've seen.
It must be so uncomfortable.
Well, it's incredibly itchy is what it really is.
So the first warning signs from Vicky's body are yeast overgrowth on her tongue and stomach apron, often seen with a diet high in sugar, thinning dry hair, she could be lacking in essential minerals, and mouth ulcers, which could be caused by food sensitivities. At the clinic, time for Dr. Denning to get down to work with a full medical examination.
All right, so I'm going to feel around the tummy and just for a minute, tell me if there's any pain in that area.
I get stomach pains here.
Okay, when do you get those?
About an hour after I've eaten, and I don't know why I get them.
And do you chew your food well?
No.
No.
I'm a quick eater.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you eat your food really rapidly, okay, one of the things that happens is that you are more likely to not digest your food as well. If you don't digest your food as well, you are more likely to develop food insensitivities.
Having taken a blood sample to test for food sensitivities, Wendy moves on to examine Vicky's tongue.
Quite a lot of a white coating at the back. What that signifies is there's a yeast overgrowth probably going on in your digestive system. Yeast growth in the intestine is promoted by sugar, chocolate, sweet, fizzy drinks.
Oh dear.
But you are a bit of a chocoholic, aren't you?
Yeah, big time.
Having seen her tongue, Wendy wants to look on the body for other evidence of yeast. And very quickly, she identifies a major diet-related problem for Vicky.
You know what this is? That's a yeast overgrowth on the skin. It's a fungal overgrowth on the skin.
That's disgusting.
Different form of yeast to the one that's in the gut, but albeit the growth that starts is created by exactly the same conditions.
Yeast overgrowth on the skin is caused by fungus. Various fungi live harmlessly in the body on the mouth, gut, vagina, or surface of the skin. But under certain conditions, they may multiply, thriving in warm, moist, poorly ventilated environments, like large folds of skin. If you've got a fungal infection anywhere on the body, avoid sugar and yeast-containing foods, such as bread, cakes, beer, and wine. Good foods to improve the condition are antifungal onions and garlic, and protein-rich turkey and chicken with vegetables. One of Vicky's main concerns is her thinning, dry hair. Nutritionist Vicky wants to take a closer look.
God, look at it, there's hardly anything. That really upsets me.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
It's far too young to be losing your hair.
Vicky's suffered from a painful and itchy foot since she became pregnant 2 years ago.
I don't know why, but my feet smell all the time.
You've definitely got athlete's foot too. You've got quite a bad split under the second to last and last toe.
We're going to have a good look.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Are you wearing cotton socks?
No, I always wear pop socks.
This can't breathe, and we're not going to be able to clear it up until you start wearing cotton socks.
Right, okay.
Leather shoes, anything. If you're running around in trainers, it's going to just make it a lot worse.
It's just spreading everywhere, isn't it?
It's rampant.
Oh no.
Examination over, the diet doctors have now built up a full picture of 35-year-old Vicky's health statistics. Body fat percentage, 48.7%. For her age, it should be between 21 and 27%. Blood pressure, 144 over 107. It's high and should be 130 over 85 or below. Her test results reveal red blood cells in her urine caused by her recurrent cystitis, and Vicky has low vitamin B and iron levels. We're often intolerant to the foods we crave, and this is proved in Vicky's case. Her food sensitivity test shows an intolerance to cow's milk, cola and wheat, all found in her chocolate and fizzy drinks. Coming up, a cereal with as much sugar as this Mars bar. The devastating effects a diet of chocolate can have on your body.
I've been sick, haven't been able to hold anything down.
And the penny finally drops for Vicky.
It's good to see though, because you can actually see what's going on.
Coming up, why so many women get cystitis, the real cause of Vicky's fungal infections,
I'm eating that amount of sugar.
Just in your chocolate.
and why you should never gulp your food.
That's you burping.
But first, time for the diet doctors to examine your photos. You've been sending in pictures of your problem areas, and tonight we're looking at feet.
You might think this is in fact a post-operative picture of someone having had an ingrown toenail removed. So for those of you that think it's not a painful operation and you can get over it quickly, think again. This takes quite a long time to recover from and is something definitely to be avoided.
Oh yes, I mean very painful looking.
The key to getting over ingrown toenails is actually to make sure that you cut your toenails properly, and that means that you cut straight across and you don't go round. Well, I'm sure that this woman didn't send this photo in for us to look at her toenails, because she's got all sorts of other things going on here. But I'm struck by the fact that these toenails are very long. And the problem with long toenails is when you put your shoes on, a toenail gets compressed and actually causes an ingrown toenail. So this woman needs to get on and cut her toenails and cut them properly, straight across the top.
Well, what I'm particularly struck by is how swollen the foot is. This could be being caused by a high salt diet. I think we've got to have this one, because this poor person must be feeling very uncomfortable with this pair of feet.
Bunions start on what we call the first metatarsal, or the big toe, and what happens is the feet go this way. Now, there's always a predisposition of your actual posture. So this person, very flat-footed, got very little arches on the feet, much more likely to get bunions. But what people don't realise is how important footwear is when it comes to the risk of getting bunions or not.
Nowadays, women, and I have to include myself in this, will choose shoes just because they're beautiful and not necessarily think about the effects of the potential long-term damage. So most people are buying shoes that are too small for them and with very narrow pointed styles. Obviously there's the risk of this type of thing happening in the long term.
35-year-old Vicky Fletcher weighs 16 stone. Her poor diet and lifestyle have left her with fungal feet, chronic cystitis, dark circles, adult eczema and thinning dry hair. Time for Wendy and Vicky to tackle her diet. By separating Vicky's entire weekly consumption of food into unhealthy red foods, moderately nutritious amber and healthy green foods, the diet doctors want to give her a wake-up call.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible, isn't it? Oh no. Do I really eat that amount of food?
Well, I think that's what you do eat, because you've definitely said on your weekly food diary. In fact, we put on the table here, on the red, amber and green, exactly what you put into your first week's food diary. I'm horrified.
It's hard to see, isn't it? Yeah. It's good to see, though, because you can actually see what's going on, yeah?
Can we stop?
After taking time to reflect, Vicky is finally ready to face up to her bad diet.
What do you have for breakfast?
Chocolate.
Yeah. So that's why we've got this going on here.
And lunch?
Lunch, if I'm at work, it's it tends to be pasta dishes,
Followed by?
chocolate, desserts.
When you're not having the chocolate,
Yeah.
we've got all those sweeteners, chemicals and so on going on.
Yeah, I drink.
But I want to show you something, okay, because I think you need to see this. In your chocolate alone, you have over 1 kilo of sugar. A week.
A week?
Hold that.
I'm eating that amount of sugar.
Just in your chocolate. We haven't even calculated what's in there in the ready meals.
Oh my gosh, just in the chocolate.
Yeah. Over 1 kilo.
I now understand why doctors have not been able to treat your fungal infection on your feet. Because this is feeding that fungus, and no matter what they've been giving you, you've just kept feeding it.
Oh my gosh.
In the amber section, these are the foods where you've got some brownie points. There are some good factors. The good news is you had 1.5 pieces of fruit that week, and the wraps have gone in here because you've got a good percentage of protein with a yeast-free bread. I have to tell you, you only had 15 glasses of water in the whole week, and that's what I'm going to want you to be having in 2 days.
Gosh.
To monitor her activity level, Vicky's been wearing an interactive pedometer as well as keeping a food diary. The results are shocking. She consumes a whopping 22,000 calories per week, but is only burning off just over 2,000.
Every day you're taking in excess of 1,200 calories, which over a week is 4.5 extra days of food.
Gosh.
So just to maintain your weight at this level, not to lose weight, but just to maintain your weight at this level, you would need to walk 59 miles in a week just to maintain.
Oh my gosh.
Vicky's diet is also aggravating one of her main conditions, cystitis. She's suffered from recurrent attacks for many years. Women are especially prone to the condition because of where the urethra exits the body. Most women will get at least one attack in their lives. Symptoms include burning sensations or pain during urination, cloudy and foul-smelling urine, and pain directly above the pubic bone.
Usually it's caused by a bacteria that creeps up from the outside, up the urethra and into the bladder area, causing an inflammation in the bladder.
Using footage from a special camera, Wendy wants to show Vicky what's going on inside the body.
These areas, these red areas, those areas that get very inflamed when you've got an attack of cystitis, that's where you get the bleeding from, in those areas. What they are is areas where the blood vessels are so close to the surface of the skin that when they get inflamed, they start to bleed very easily. And so you get this sort of, you get the blood coming away. It's a bit like when you've got a cold, you can get a nosebleed. It's exactly the same process.
Gosh, I never knew that.
To flush bacteria out of the bladder, drink 2 to 3 litres of water a day. Urinate before and after sex. Avoid tea and coffee as they can irritate the bladder. And take cranberry supplements. They contain phytonutrients that stop bacteria sticking to the walls of the bladder and prevent an infection from taking hold. The diet doctors have one more surprise for Vicky.
You've put on 6.5 stone in the last 7 years, is that right?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, we reckon that probably about 2 stone of that has gone round here.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to show you what 2 stone of fat looks like. And that is 2 stone of lard.
Oh, no.
And I want you to kind of pick it up, okay? Because this is your apron.
Oh my gosh, this is just on my stomach.
This is just on your stomach. This is 28 packs of lard.
I can't lift it up. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm going to help you, just so you
So
get
that?
Yes,
you're carrying
that
around
is what
every
you're
day.
carrying. That's what you've put on in the last 7 years, just around your middle, because that's only 2 stone.
Oh.
The thing with being an apple shape is that everything goes, as we talked about, goes around the stomach, okay? But the thing is, it also goes around the vital organs. So it goes around the heart, it goes around the pancreas, it goes around the liver. And you imagine that you carry on at that rate of over-consuming of calories every day. You imagine where you're going to end up.
I just won't be able to breathe.
Correct.
Yeah.
We don't want you to end up like that. We want you to end up looking like you used to look.
So do I.
So to help her achieve her goals, clean up her diet and improve her overall health, the diet doctors have designed a detailed eating plan for Vicky. To tackle her fungal infections, cystitis and thinning hair, Vicky must eat a healthy, balanced diet with plenty of whole grains, protein and vegetables, avoiding all sugars.
The importance of eliminating sugar is so that we're not feeding your yeast or your athlete's foot, and those conditions can clear up.
Wendy will also be treating Vicky's fungal foot infection with the prescription drug terbinafine. And she'll be taking supplements: chromium to balance her blood sugars, iron to help her hair loss, cranberry extract for her cystitis, essential fatty acids for her hair and skin, and exercise. Vicky must do 10,000 steps every day.
Vicky often had chocolate for breakfast, so frankly, it's no surprise that she had problems. But before you get too smug, just how healthy is your breakfast?
The Which report from July 2006 assessed 275 breakfast cereals. Now, despite their healthy image, some breakfast cereals have high levels of saturated fat, salt, and even as much sugar as in a chocolate bar.
In the UK, nearly half the population chooses cereal for breakfast, with 30 million bowls being consumed every day. Eating a nutritious breakfast has major health benefits, boosting your brain and energy levels and controlling hunger pangs. The diet doctors recommend whole grains for breakfast. Porridge to release energy slowly, with soya or oat milk, high in B vitamins. But if you're going to eat a commercial breakfast cereal, make sure you know what you're eating. Jordan's Country Crisp 4-nut combo is one of the Which Report's worst offenders for fat. There's as much fat as a McDonald's bacon roll. 35% comes from bad fats. Kellogg's All Bran looks healthy, but watch out for the salt. It's one of the worst of the high-fibre cereals, containing more salt in a 100-gram portion than a small bag of salted peanuts. And Morrison's Golden Puffs tops the table for sugar offenders, containing a staggering 55% sugar, nearly as much as in a Mars bar. Morrisons say they're developing a lower sugar version of the cereal. 60% of the UK are now overweight or obese. All too many of us don't register the true effects of our shocking diet, but a healthy, superfit volunteer will notice the results swiftly. This body belongs to former Olympic swimmer Karen Pickering. She's bravely agreed to be a human lab rat, taking on a high sugar diet for 2 weeks to measure the effects on her body.
I've been world champion 4 times, 13 Commonwealth medals, 13 European Championship medals, 38 British Championship titles, 2 world records and an MBE. When I was full-time training, I used to do 10 swim sessions a week of about 2 hours. So that was 6 mornings starting at 5:30, 4 evenings. I used to go to the gym 4 times a week to do weight training. Things like sit-ups, press-ups, Swiss ball, general exercises I used to have to do every day. Welcome to my fridge. I've got lots of water, energy drinks, coleslaw, and then lots of salad. I love my salad.
It's 40 seconds.
Before Karen can start the experiment, we need to get her vital statistics so we can measure how her athlete's body changes over the next 14 days.
11 stone 6, 38, 28.
Our results confirm she's in outstanding physical condition. Her own GP's been consulted and Karen's been given the all clear to start the trial. Karen doesn't know what her diet will be. This box contains a food she'll have to eat on top of her normal diet for the next 2 weeks.
Oh my God. Diet, 8 bars of chocolate a day. Exercise, no more than 5,000 steps a day. You've got to be joking.
On top of her normal diet, per day, Karen will be consuming an extra 1,880 calories, almost an entire day's worth. Just from the chocolate alone, she'll eat an additional 112 grams of fat, over twice the recommended daily amount, and a whopping 230 extra grams of sugar, nearly double what she should be consuming.
I'm just going to try and eat this as quickly as possible. Get it over with.
She starts her challenge with an aero containing 203 calories and 11.8 grams of fat.
So sweet.
2 hours later, she's on her second bar of chocolate, this time a Lion bar with 277 calories and 13.7 grams of fat. And 6 bars later, at the end of day 1, it's a timeout with 180 calories and 10.4 grams of fat.
I feel quite sick because I just don't fancy them, so I still sort of have to force them down.
At the end of day 1, she's already feeling bloated, lethargic, and suffering from wind. Her body's producing more gas than usual due to the extra sugar fermenting in her gut. But it's just the start of her problems. And later, we'll see how Karen's symptoms get a whole lot worse.
Sick bag between my legs. I've been sick, haven't been able to hold anything down.
After the break, the diet doctors employ shock tactics.
Oh my gosh.
And Vicky pays the price for cheating.
My eczema's starting to come back.
Still to come on tonight's Diet Doctors, Olympic athlete Karen Pickering is on the verge of quitting her lab rat experiment.
I've just pretty much been not knowing whether to kneel, just like going to the toilet and sit on the toilet or kneel by the toilet. It's just been horrific.
The Diet Doctors stop at nothing to keep our chocoholic off those sugary snacks for good.
That doesn't actually feel very comfortable having that much air in there, does it?
Oh.
But first, time to catch up with tonight's case study. 35-year-old Vicky Fletcher weighed in at 16 stone. Her addiction to chocolate played havoc with her diet and lifestyle, leaving her with fungal feet, thinning hair, painful cystitis, and an itchy yeast overgrowth. Her diet had taken its toll. After a series of tests and examinations, Vicky faced up to the reality of her eating habits, and she's agreed to adopt the Diet Doctor's tailor-made action plan to turn her life around. She's on a dairy-free and sugar-free diet. Sweet treats are banned. Vicky wants to teach us some quick, easy-to-prepare sugar-free pudding ideas for healthy meals at home.
I've devised a really yummy pudding, which is quite a traditional rice pudding.
Brown basmati rice, a whole grain which will balance her blood sugar levels. To the rice, Vicky adds a peach, rich in beta-carotene, which is converted to vitamin A in the body, a potent antioxidant. Into each dish, she adds the seed, star anise, a potent antiviral and antibacterial ingredient. And oat milk, high in B vitamins for energy. Cook for 45 minutes and they're ready to eat.
See what you think. It's different. It's definitely different.
But it tastes like a dessert.
Doesn't it?
Yes,
and there
it's quite
isn't
sweet.
any sugar in it at all.
I'm quite impressed, actually.
As an added push, Vicky's also been given a personal trainer. This will ensure she keeps up her exercise, increasing muscle mass and burning fat. 1 month into her new diet, it's back to the clinic for an update with the diet doctors. Is the new regime working?
Yeah. Your dark circles have gone.
Don't know. Let's have a look.
Have a look. What do you think, Vicky? I think
no, they've gone.
They've gone.
They have actually gone.
You've obviously been sticking to the diet.
As best as I can, yes. Still craving chocolate, still want to eat lots of it, but I can't.
And there's good news for Vicky. She's lost weight.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe I've lost half a stone in just 8 or 9 days.
She hasn't had a single attack of cystitis in 4 weeks, and her itchy foot is clearing up.
I've had it for 2 years. I expected it to take 2 years to go away.
Well, looking at your foot, I've got to guess that you've been pretty good about staying off the chocolate.
I've stayed off the chocolate for 3 weeks.
The way I feel at the moment, I would be surprised if this craving ever disappears.
I've slipped a couple of days ago.
I had a chocolate tiffin bar, homemade chocolate tiffin bar, which was absolutely gorgeous.
It was only a small piece, but it was still a piece of chocolate. And my eczema's starting to come back. This is where the eczema used to be, and it's
much improved.
Yes, generally it's much improved, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah.
But up here, you can see it starting off again, and that's itchy since I've eaten the chocolate.
Very immediate, and much more immediate when you actually clean your system up a little bit.
So it's not really a question of chocolate is my treat. If you eat chocolate, you're going to have a problem with your eczema.
I didn't realise that the food was causing so many ailments that now I've looked and thought, oh gosh, right, okay, this really is, related to the diet.
Vicky's done well, but is still gulping down her food, a habit she needs to change quickly. So the diet doctors employ shock tactics.
What we have here is a pig's stomach, which is very similar to a human stomach. And this is your esophagus, which is where the food goes right into the stomach. Stomach here, it's got 3 walls of muscles that move everything around in it. Right. And out into the intestine. Okay? Now, in your particular case, you were gulping your food down, gulping it down with liquids, smoking. I don't think you chewed gum, but you did everything else.
Yeah.
What I want to show you is what happens when you gulp your food down and you take a lot of air in at the same time. What happens to the stomach?
Wendy inserts a pump into the esophagus to mimic the effect of eating quickly and gulping down air with food.
And I'm going to show you, see what happens.
Oh!
Now, you can imagine that that doesn't actually feel very comfortable having that much air in there, does it?
Oh!
There's a ring around here that prevents the acid and the stomach contents coming back up into the esophagus.
Chocolate and certain other foods like fat, alcohol and coffee decrease the pressure of this ring, known as the lower esophageal sphincter, causing it to open more than it would normally, resulting in acid reflux.
That's you burping.
To ensure Vicky's weight loss doesn't plateau, the diet doctors have set her some new goals. She must cut out all starches after 6 p.m, as anything in excess of her needs gets converted to fat in the body. And start exercising in the morning. This will raise her metabolic rate, burning fat and improving her mood.
Superfit
athlete Karen Pickering was really struggling at the early part of the challenge, but now I think things are about to get a lot worse.
Former Olympic swimmer Karen Pickering's agreed to become a human lab rat. She's eating 8 bars of chocolate a day for 2 weeks on top of her normal diet, so we can measure the effects on her body.
Oh my God. Am I supposed to eat all that?
2 days in, Karen's perfect body is starting to react badly to the chocolate. Her stomach's becoming bloated and painful due to the high amount of sugar she's consuming.
I had the worst night's sleep last night. I woke up about 4 o'clock this morning. I just feel really, really bleh.
It's not surprising she didn't sleep well. Chocolate's a stimulant. 8 bars a day equals an extra 240 milligrams of caffeine. The equivalent of 3 cups of coffee has been playing havoc with her system.
I've had my first chocolate bar of the day and I've got a really bad stomachache already.
The bacteria in her gut that helps digest food is producing even more gas due to the high volume of fatty food and sugar, causing a bloated and painful stomach. Over the next few days, the chocolate also starts affecting her skin. She's developing dark circles under the eyes from lack of sleep, spots on her chin, and a sallow grey complexion. By day 6, her rapid fluctuations in blood sugar, due to the sugar highs and crashes after eating the chocolate, are making her feel nauseous.
Today when I woke up, I just could not face eating one at all. I just didn't want to feel sick today. I felt like feeling sick. Failed.
And by day 7, Karen's body has had enough and begins to fight back.
It's been an awful day today. I've been sick, haven't been able to hold anything down. So not only have I not eaten any chocolate today, I haven't eaten anything. I've just pretty much been not knowing whether to kneel, like going to the toilet and sit on the toilet or kneel by the toilet. It's just been horrific. I literally drove back from the airport with a sick bag between my legs.
Halfway through, Karen's on the verge of quitting.
I thought I'd feel sick. I thought that eating the chocolate would probably make me feel sick, but I didn't think I'd feel this rough.
Unable to cope with the severe cramps, diarrhea and vomiting, Karen goes to see her doctor. She's prescribed antispasmodic drugs for her severe stomach cramps. After careful consultation, it's clear Karen must abandon the experiment.
I don't like this feeling of sort of failing at something. I feel like I've been a bit of a letdown.
In just 8 days, Karen experienced the following symptoms: spotty skin, vomiting, diarrhea, severe stomach cramps, wind, insomnia and bloating.
Okay.
So in just 8 days, will there be any change to her measurements? She retook her medical tests and it's back to the clinic for the results.
Actually, the results are quite staggering.
Really?
You put on 2 pounds, your lung capacity dropped by 10%, which for a swimmer is major. Mm-hmm. Your body fat went up 3.1%. And the big one is you gained 5 inches on your waist.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
That's awful. I knew that it had got bigger, but that's awful. One of my boyfriend's friends did ask me when my baby was due.
Thankfully, 2 weeks later, she's managed to clear her body of the extra calories and is back in the pool, exercising as usual. 3 months ago, chocolate addict Vicky Fletcher adopted the Diet Doctor's tailor-made action plan to eradicate her catalogue of health problems. 12 weeks in, has the Diet Doctor's plan worked?
So this is Vicky's tongue 3 months ago.
When I first looked at that tongue, I thought this girl is tired. But the other thing that was quite clear from that tongue was that she had a problem with fungal infections.
Here's her tongue 3 months later.
I've had to stop and think about that one, because what's fascinating about this tongue is that it's actually quite red. And that means that she's probably lost quite a bit of weight. And as a result of that, her liver is actually having to work overtime in order to process through the fat that she's
breaking down from the body, and also the toxins that are held in the fat.
Well, here's the next part, which is, if you remember, Vicky's stomach apron and all the fungus that was growing underneath there.
What I was struck by when I first saw this was how she was actually walking around with this and hadn't actually gone to get any treatment for it. I mean, it must have been so irritated, and there's this huge patch of redness.
She was feeding that with her diet. You know, chocolate, chocolate, chocolate and chocolate.
Yeah.
So she must have been following the diet because it has now
that's great. And actually the skin looks so much healthier, doesn't it?
Much healthier.
I mean, the fungal infection's gone, the skin looks healthier, and there's a lot less stomach there, that's for sure.
Now, this is really nasty. This was Vicky's foot 3 months ago.
That was one of the worst fungal infections on someone's foot I've ever seen. I've never actually seen someone blade a foot as much as she did.
Also thickened. This whole pad of the foot is thickened.
Well, I think that was her worst problem, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that one's gone.
Now, this is Vicky's foot 3 months later.
I can't believe the difference. That looks like a newborn foot, literally.
Well, and I suspect she probably threw away the shoes, which must have been reinfecting it, and those hideous pop socks. Nylon pop socks.
Well, enough of the photos, Vicky. I want to see her in the flesh.
Let's bring her in. And here she is. Wow, look at you.
You looking the glamorous girl.
You look
wow.
fantastic.
Hair looks lovely
really
too.
Fantastic.
Sorry, such a doctor. I'm just trying to get a look at the hair. How is it?
It's so much better. It's just got its life back and I'm chuffed to bits.
I think the thing is that you're living and thriving as opposed to just surviving.
Yeah.
You were almost struggling to get through every day before.
Oh, it was just a big chore. Everything was so difficult, and just feel like I've got my life back, and it's, you know, it's not taken long to do. 12 weeks and I feel a completely different person. I'm so pleased that, you know, I've done this. It's amazing.
And if we had suggested to you 3 months ago that this is how you could feel and look, would you have believed it?
Oh gosh, no. No, not in the slightest, because you don't think it's your diet and your food intake that's creating it. You just think it's your way of life. I would never have put it down to my food. I know I had a bad diet, but I didn't realise how bad.
What's striking me is how great your skin looks. Your skin was obviously very different to how it is now. Yeah. And it's clear, it's radiant, and your eyes are sparkling. I mean, you really have completely changed in your appearance.
You actually look 15 years younger.
I like that.
And there have been major medical improvements for Vicky. Her B vitamins are normal, her iron stores are up, and her blood pressure's down to a healthy 130/75.
Right, let's see what your measurements are.
Moment of truth. This is fantastic. Okay, you started out with a bust measurement of 48 inches, and you are now down to 44 inches. Your waist measurement was 47 inches, and it is down to 39 inches.
Oh,
so you've
my
lost
gosh.
8 inches on your waist.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
That's amazing. Oh, I'm really pleased about that.
I'm really pleased. Fantastic.
And your hips were 51 inches, and they're now 43 inches. So you've lost 8 inches on the hips.
Now, I want to see how much you've lost.
3 months ago, Vicky weighed 16 stone, 1 pound.
13 stone, 8 pounds.
That's amazing. That's exactly 2.5 stone. Wow, that's fabulous.
Your body fat has gone from 48% to 40%.
Oh, wow.
So you've dropped 8% on the body fat. Now we want to get it down to about 25, 27%.
Yeah, still got a way to go.
So still a ways to go there. Got to stay with the programme.
Yeah.
But huge improvement.
Vicky's come a long way. In just 3 months, she's managed to cure all her fungal infections. Significantly improved her thinning hair and eczema. She hasn't had a single attack of cystitis in 6 weeks.
I just feel so much happier. I just feel like a different person.
Her body had been healed from the inside out. But 6 months on, has Vicky managed to maintain her success? Find out after the break. Last year, former chocoholic Vicky Fletcher's 8-bar-a-day habit had seen her pile on 6 stone in 7 years and balloon to a staggering size 22. Her sweet tooth had put her dangerously at risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and her long list of medical symptoms were testament to years of a bad diet and no exercise. Thanks to an intensive 12-week programme with Dr. Wendy Denning and nutritionist Vicky Edson, she managed to turn her life and her health around and shed an impressive 2.5 stone.
You actually look 15 years younger.
I like that.
Just 6 months on, has she managed to maintain all that she achieved in her time with the diet doctors?
Not one single ailment has returned. So I don't have any problems with my feet, I don't have any eczema, I don't get any headaches, I've not had any cystitis, I don't have any indigestion problems or any stomach aches. So everything has got a tick against it, not one thing has come back.
But does she still have a problem with the habit that put her on the brink of diabetes?
Yes, I still crave chocolate. Occasionally I'll have chocolate. I won't have very much of it though, because every time I taste it, I could keep on eating it.
So while chocolates are still a temptation, has she managed to maintain an otherwise healthy diet?
It's very much the diet that Wendy and Vicky put me on. I tend to do a bit of tweaking here and there, and again, you know, if I go out to dinner, then won't necessarily order the salad, whereas 4 months ago I would have done, but I will be careful what I eat. My basic diet does consist of chicken, fish, fruit and veg. I still have that, and I just cook them in different ways. I'll do them as stir fries, or I do some sushi, or I'll make homemade pizzas. So I haven't veered from that diet at all. I've just learnt how to adjust homemade cooking to fit it, basically.
Vicky's commitment to the new diet doctor's regime has extended to her fitness level, which has gone from strength to strength.
I do 5 hours exercising a week, of which 2 hours a week are with a personal trainer. As soon as we finished filming the 12 weeks, she got straight on that phone and said, Vicky, you know, you're not going to stop doing this. You've worked so hard. And she basically took me under her wing, which is absolutely brilliant.
She's been amazing. She's really dedicated and motivated. She's taken loads of time to really, you know, work hard. She puts a lot of effort into it. She's getting fitter every time I see her, which is fantastic. She bullies me to get up earlier so we can go out for our runs. So she's really motivated and dedicated. She loves it.
I do jogging with her every Saturday for about an hour and a half. We go jogging in the morning. Come rain, wind or shine, we're out there. She won't let me get away with not doing any exercise at all.
Her body shape has changed enormously and she looks fantastic, and I know she's really much more confident to put on tighter clothes and little sexy numbers now, so she's just looking really good and really happy.
My shape is changing every week. You know, it's just all moving around and toning up. It's brilliant.
In just 7 months, Vicky has lost an impressive 3 dress sizes, dropping from an ample size 22 to a curvy size 16, the national average. Body fat has decreased from 48.7% to an amazing 30.1%. And her blood pressure has dropped from 144/107 when she first went to the diet doctor's clinic to 110/68, which is in the healthy region for a woman of her age. But most impressive of all, her weight has fallen from 16 stone 1 pound when we first met Vicky to a fantastic 12 stone and 8 pounds. That's 3.5 stone overall. Vicky's transformation has been remarkable. While she still has some weight to lose, the diet doctors have given her the knowledge she needs to ensure her health problems never return.
I can't thank them enough, because basically I just think they saved my life from falling into an abyss of unhappiness. So they pulled me out of it, and I'll be eternally grateful for that.